This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the newly appointed CEO of Atco Mining, a personal holding of mine, Mr. Etienne Moshevich. Etienne, great to have you on. How are you today, sir?
I am doing great, Gerardo. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you.
No, listen, this is an important update, not just for readers and shareholders and yourself in the company, but for me as a shareholder. You and I have had, several private conversations about the potential that we feel the hydrogen storage space has as an industry, as a sector. And Newfoundland specifically is being very, very aggressive in developing that infrastructure. And Atco Mining has quietly gone out and put together one of the most comprehensive land packages in Newfoundland. And frankly, when I look at the peers and the peer comps and some of the peer comps that are about to go to market, and I look at Atco Mining's market cap, I get excited because I wrote a check recently. And if the re-rating is accurate, if those peer comps are accurate, then I'm expecting a pretty healthy return once people start paying attention to Atco. So with all of that being said, let me congratulate you on the appointment to take over Atco as the new interim CEO. I want to give you an opportunity to just kind of provide a bit of background and why you're so passionate about the company, as I know you are.
Totally. Well, first off, again, thank you very much for taking the time today. And obviously, you and I have chatted many times before privately, so it's very, very good to kind of get on the record and come on and take over Atco as its newly appointed CEO. I just thought it would make sense. This is my largest shareholding out of anything that I have. I am the single largest shareholder of the company. I'm over 10%. I'm a founder of the company. It just made sense. And I have a lot of my friends and family that are investors in this company. And one way or another, I have to make this thing work. So if you want to get something done, you know, I'm young enough. I want to take the reins and make this a massive success for myself, my family, my friends, and all our shareholders. So that's the plan. And I think we're in an incredible position to do so. I mean, right now we're sitting at around a $3.5 million market cap Canadian.
Yeah,
I mean,
I laugh because it's laughable. Yes.
It's laughable. But if you look at, if you compare us, let's say, to, as an example, we were always talking about comparing us to Atlas Salt. Atlas Salt, obviously, is a much higher market cap than us. Atlas right now is trading at close to $120 million market cap. They have their Great Atlantic deposit, which is a salt deposit. But they're spinning out the Triple Point Resources. And that's still private. They're still in the works to take that thing public. So everybody, including us, are waiting for an update on that. But the market caps that have been rumored and that we're talking about that going public are obviously much, much, much higher than us. And we are one of the largest landholders in the area. Another company that we're looking at comparing ourselves to is Vortex Energy. VRTX is a symbol on the CSE. And they're trading at like a $55 million market cap, trading at over $1 a share. And they are basically in the exact same position that we are, except we're trading at a $3 million market cap. What I can see from their website, they have about 17,000 hectares. We have 21,000 hectares. And they got a great team. So do we. They just appointed a new advisor to their team. But we're in the exact same position land-wise in southwestern Newfoundland in the St. George's Bay Basin. We have more acreage than they do. They're trading at, close to 20 times our market cap. So we feel and the biggest thing for us, I feel, is that nobody really knows our story. And that's kind of my job, is to kind of get out there, explain to everybody our value add proposition, what we want to do. It's simple. We have 7 projects. I'll take you through the timeline of how everything started. We knew we wanted to get into the hydrogen storage space. And the reason for it is because August of last year, I don't know if all your readers know about this, but Olaf Scholz signed a clean energy bill with our Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, at the end. It was in August of last year. And they signed it specifically promoting clean energy and clean hydrogen. And the reason they wanted to do that was because, and they signed that bill actually in Stephenville, Newfoundland, which is where all our projects are, in that area. And they signed it there because that area is one of the windiest corridors in the world. And the whole plan is, and we'll get into that a little bit later on, is to put up wind turbines over there. And you can use electrolysis to separate the oxygen from the hydrogen. You can store the hydrogen, hopefully in our salt domes, and then you can ship the hydrogen over to Germany, and they can create ammonia gas out of it, which hopefully will get themselves off of their dependence off of Russian gas. So it's a new energy source for Germany. So that's why they signed it there. And after that, we always knew we wanted to be in that area because that was a massive kind of feather in our cap, which kind of pushed us to invest more resources in the area. And so we acquired 7 different projects in the area, 2 to the north, very close to Atlas Salt, and another 5 down south near Triple Point Resources. And so we did all the geological work, and we flew an airborne, which came out with 2 to 3 salt dome targets, which is exactly what you need to kind of take it to the next step. And that's exactly what we confirmed, because we acquired those projects because we went through a lot of historical data, and which confirmed that there's a potential of salt dome targets there. So we did our own airborne. We flew our own airborne. It confirmed that, which is amazing. Then there was an opportunity to acquire another piece of land called the Flat Bay that we announced about a month ago, the Flat Bay project. And that already had a historical gravity low on it. So what we've done is we've engaged ground truth exploration to go through all the historical data, to go through it and to make sure, because it suggests the presence of a salt dome at depth. So we want to go through all that data, confirm it on our own, and then we'll be able to kind of go through our next steps. And there's plenty more historical information that we're getting from the Newfoundland government right now, especially even seismic data that we're going to be in the process here to go through, and which will give us a better idea of exactly where our targets are and how deep they potentially are. So it's it's a slow it's a step-by-step process to go through it, but the whole macro area is real, or the macro trend is really heating up, because another thing that we spoke about in our last news release on May 6th is the amount of wind turbine proposals that have been submitted to the Newfoundland government. And I believe there were about 19 companies that submitted bids to the government to build wind energy projects in the area. And so they're, according to the government, and from what I've seen from reading, they're in the process of reviewing all those proposals, and then everybody is waiting for an update. But World Energy GH2, which I hope all your listeners and readers are able to do some research on, but they announced on May 17th, which is important, that they cut a deal with SK Ecoplan, where they're going to invest $50 million US in a $4.2 billion wind hydrogen project. So they got for a 20% stake in the GH2 project, which would include 164 wind turbines. So everything is just, and this wasn't even massive news. Like, I had to actually really dig in and find it. And so the area is just starting to heat up, and we're obviously a $3 million market cap, and we want to be, a small player in a space where I believe can be like where lithium was 5-6 years ago, where you could have a lithium story. Nobody really looked at you because nobody cared about lithium. All of a sudden, EV vehicles with Tesla and everything started blowing up, and these micro cap exploration lithium companies started heating up like crazy. And the first movers were the ones that were able to raise 50 to 100 million and take themselves to the next level. And I truly believe we're at the forefront in that, and we want to position ourselves to take advantage of that.
Well,
Does
listen,
that kind of help
that's
you a little bit and give you a better color?
absolutely, that's excellent context. That sets the table well. And look, I pride myself as a contrarian investor, and a part of being a contrarian investor is writing checks and looking at first movers in sectors that are underappreciated or not well understood. And I think that's exactly the case right now with hydrogen storage, with this particular part of the world. And again, this isn't a matter of if the infrastructure is going to get built. There were 19 bids. It's a matter of who is going to build it, right? And so I think it's important for people to realize that the first mover advantage that Atco and some of the other more advanced companies that you mentioned is going to be critical when it comes to the re-rating that's going to come, even for those companies that are trading at much higher market caps, once people realize how profitable this sector is going to be and how much money can be made from it on all sides of it, right? So I think that sets the table well. Etienne, can you just provide us real quickly what comes next?
Totally. And just before we do that, I just want to say one thing, which I think is very, very interesting to note. And when we're talking about us being at the forefront and it's still early, is, when I'm speaking to different investors and different brokers, I still have to kind of explain to them and educate them a lot of times on what hydrogen storage is and why it's important, and go through the whole historical area as to the 19 companies that submitted bids and why, and the whole wind energy projects that are being built in the area. And I think that's amazing, because that's how I know that we're so early in that. And that reminds me when I had to speak to brokers and everything about electric vehicles and Tesla before lithium went crazy, because nobody really cared about it. It's not that easy as, hey, I'm drilling for gold. If we hit, we could have a potential mine. This is different. And that's what gets me so excited, because I know we're early. Yes, we are early, but we're at the forefront of what's, in my opinion, inevitably going to be a multi-billion-dollar sector. So to answer your next question in terms of what's next, we're waiting on, we're going through the historical data on Flat Bay, which is extremely important for us. And we're also going through some more historical data from the Newfoundland government. So we're on several of our other projects. So once we get that data, then we're going to have a better sense as to what our targets are. And then we'll have a full exploration plan as to what the next steps are. So that's kind of the most important thing for us right now, and what I'm waiting on. And we're not long away from that at all. So that should be coming out imminently. And then we will have a full kind of corporate update with an exploration plan for investors to show them exactly what the next steps are.
Well, I'm looking forward to having you back on to get more details on those exploration plans. I want to thank you for taking the time to provide that thorough overview of the company and look and the excitement around the region, because again, I think it's a very, very potentially lucrative opportunity for people that are early to the space and have the patience and the wherewithal and the vision to kind of see what's coming as well. As the great Wayne Gretzky would say, right? He used to say, I skate to the puck where it's going, not where it's at. And that's how you make money in the resource space. It's a risky enough sector as is. I love skating to where the puck's going, not to where the puck is. And I think it's headed in that direction. Etienne, anything to add to that?
You know what? I totally agree with you. I wanted to thank you for letting me come on your show. And, look, this is something I'm extremely passionate about. I wrote checks every single of the way through, especially in the last financing at 16 cents a share, which is obviously higher than where we're trading at right now. So I have every incentive to make this thing work for myself and for all investors. So hopefully everybody sees the opportunity here and comes along for the ride with us.
Looking forward to chatting again. Looking forward to that exploration update and more developments from the region. Thank you again, sir.
Thanks a lot. Expect a lot more news to come, so please stay tuned, Gerardo.
Hey everybody, Gerardo Del Real here. If you're enjoying the content that you just saw, you can let us know in 3 simple steps. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share across your network and on social media. Take care, everybody.